Alrighty you guys, so you'll see, as you can see, we have some mini cracks on the discs on the rear, and I'm going to show you how to. Firstly, we need to remove the wheel, and you'll see there's a special lock nut which will show you now where to get, and we'll be changing the rear pads on this G80 M3. See, you press the boot lever, and then you'll see inside the boot on the left hand side over here there's a little compartment that you can open up, and you'll see there's this little lock nut tool, and that is specifically made to fit into there. So we'll just go ahead and press that in there, give it a couple of turns until it locks into place, and then we can loosen this up. Alright, first things first, we need to get inside this car and we need to disable the park brake. So what you'll do is you put your foot on the brake, start the car, take the park brake off, make sure the car's in park, then switch the engine back off, and then slowly ease off of the brake just so that the car can set into park. That will allow the rear wheels to be able to turn so that we can actually get those pads off. Otherwise those pads clamp onto this disc and you won't be able to get them off at all. Alright, so if you're like me and you have your car on the floor and you don't have a 2-post or 4-post lift that you're going to be working on, you need a pretty strong jack. It needs at least a 2-ton jack, and then I'll be showing you how to jack this. We'll go in the middle of the car at the back, and we'll go in right underneath the differential. So let's just drop this a little bit. Alrighty, now we're going to go ahead and just loosen all these, just like that. Alrighty, once you've got all of those loosened up, you can go ahead and jack this until you see it. The rear wheel is just off the ground. There we go, that's pretty good. Alright, let's go ahead and remove all these wheel studs one by one. Alrighty, cool. So now that we've got all the wheel studs removed, we can just go ahead and grab the rim over here, pull that off. So it's done very nicely. You can have a good look at this disc and pads. The discs are not too bad, but we can see those pads over there. Oof, they've seen some way better days, haven't they? So we'll go ahead and I'm going to show you how to remove this. Now the first thing you want to do is remove the brake pad sensor, which you'll see is coming from this box. This cord here on the right hand side is going down, and it's going straight in over here on the back end of the pad over there. So I'm going to show you how to remove that. Grab yourself a flat screwdriver. You can just clip this over here and clip this over there. Open up this little box, and you see there's a little clip on the inside here. So you just press this really hard over here, and you can kind of pull that off, and then you'll see it's clipped in all these different locations. So you kind of just put your fingers in the front and back of that, and you just pull that off, and then you'll see they come off. You can remove this one from over here just by pulling that off over there. Same with this one over here. There we go, we got all those off nicely. Then you can go ahead, grab yourself a number 13 socket for this nut over the back over here. You can put that over there. That's on there. And then you can go ahead and grab yourself a number 17 spanner, a wrench. And that just goes over there. And then this whole story can be loosened up. So let's loosen this up. Move that. There we go. Now you got some movement over there. And then we're going to do the same with the one at the bottom over here. Right over there. Going to do the same thing. There we go. Take that off like that, and you'll see this whole thing. Sorry, I just put this one back in place just to lock it. Alrighty, now we can kind of remove this rear caliper over here. Just wiggle it until it comes off, and then you'll see, kind of just let that hang over there. Just get this plug for the sensor out. There we go, and we can remove the pads, just pull them forward, and they should slide right out. There's number one. Woo! That is done. And number two. There we go. You can see the sensor is a bit child. It hasn't been triggered just yet. So the sensor is still good. We're just replacing the pads at the moment. Alrighty, and then you guys will see over here, we got our brand new set of rear BMW M3 G80 competition brake pads. And what we're going to go ahead and do is, we're just going to give this edge over here and this edge over here a small little chamfer. And what that allows us is, it's because on the disc there's micro ridges and stuff, it actually allows the pad to seat into the same shape as what those ridges are like. And I'm going to show you now how to do that. Alrighty, so we're here at the bench grind, and you'll see what we're going to do is we'll switch this on, and we're just going to chamfer this little edge on this side over here, and just kind of give it that edge. Something like that. Same on the other side. Go, that's pretty much that. Alright, so as you guys can see, we've chamfered all our pads, and we got this little package here with new bolts and caliper retainers. So in order to remove those, you simply slip this out, and you'll see that it comes out very easily. Alrighty, now to install the new retainers, it's quite easy actually. It's very simple. Kind of just hold it over the brake, make sure it's nice and centralized, and then just give it a little squeeze down in the front, squeeze down at the back, and you'll see your retainer, it's nice in place. And then you'll do the same at the top. Alrighty, we got our two retainers in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to take some copper paste, and we're just going to add a little bit of copper paste on the back end of the pad over here. Not too much, not too much. And what this allows is it just allows the pad to squeak much less, because there's no brake dust that can get stuck in between the caliper and the actual brake pad. So you can just put some of that over there and around the edges over here, and then literally what you do is slide the pad in like that, let the bottom edge clip in, slide the front past, and then you literally just push it back into place. And that's that. And we'll do the same with the one at the back. I'll see that. Squeeze that in there. There we go. Two new pads fitted. Then we can go ahead and reinstall the brake sensor onto the back pad. You'll notice that the pad at the back actually has like a little clip for the brake sensor. So always make sure that you put this guy on the inside and not on the outside, otherwise you won't be able to get your caliper back on. Alright, next thing is we need to compress the caliper piston back into position. Alright, there's a little bit of a special tool that we use for that. Kind of looks something like this. You can buy it at your local AutoZone or hardware. Most places have them. It's just a brake caliper compression kit. You'll see it comes with these discs that have different sizes, and they actually fit onto your piston here in the front, and you'll see it's got like a little locking pin there so that it can actually lock onto the piston, and that allows it to turn the piston. Alrighty, so you'll see from over here we'll turn our piston compressor all the way inward. Trying to get that in there. Let's go some more. Get that in there. And what you have to do is you have to extend it outward. You can kind of get max amount on it, and as you can see here now is the piston and the compressor are now interlocked with one another. So as soon as I start turning this bar, it's actually going to compress the piston inward. So you'll see if I turn this, over here, the piston will start compressing. Alright, and you'll feel it'll come to a dead stop once it's done, and then you kind of know that's the spot. You won't be able to do this if the car is not released from the park brake. As long as the park brake's on, you won't be able to turn this piston in. In fact, I don't even think you'll be able to take the caliper off. Alright, so that's pretty much that. Doesn't want to go anymore. Turn it back just like 45 degrees so we can loosen this. That all setup comes down over there. You can see the piston is compressed in completely. Take your brake caliper sensor and just squeeze it through the middle of the pad over here, the caliper. Just pull that all the way through. Alrighty, so see that kind of slides back in place over there. Now you can take the new bolts, two of the new bolts, obviously one at the top and a new one at the bottom, and then you can just connect your brake pad sensor up everywhere you disconnected it and plug it back into a little box over there. Alrighty, once you have all that in place, you can kind of take your wrench, your socket, and you can just tighten this all back up. And then this bolt, you can tighten up to 35 newtons. You'll see at the tip of it, it's got like a little bit of glue, which is like a sort of Loctite. And yeah, you can tighten it up to 35 newtons, and that should be pretty good. And there we go. New pads installed. Now I'll show you what to do. So all we're going to do now is to activate the park brake, get this thing to squeeze back the piston into position, and then put the wheel back on. Alrighty, then we can go ahead and put this rear wheel back on. Alrighty, then we can go ahead and we can drop the jack. we need to do now that the car's on the floor, we can properly lock these nuts in place. And we'll lock these at 120 newtons. Alrighty, then kind of the last thing left to do is just to get into the car. Press this 3 times, 1, 2, 3. Activate the park brake. Foot on the brake. Park brake. You'll hear it run for a few seconds and then wait for the park brake to come on. Give the brakes 2 or 3 good pumps. Disactivate. Reactivate, and that's it, we're done. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.